All right, guys, welcome back to Undisputed Interviews. Today's guest is UFC vet and current combat, karate combat heavyweight champion, Smilin Sam Alvey. How are you today?
Oh, I am feeling wonderful. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. So, my first question for you is, how did you discover the UFC and like what made you realize that you wanted to become a professional combat athlete?
Well, I discovered, I don't know, somewhere along the line, just like everyone else. I had fought for a long time before I ever heard of it, but then I started fighting and eventually it was there. And the reason I wanted to be a combat athlete is because they paid me. I get to work
Hmm.
out all day and it's a job. It's like the greatest work in the world.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm an amateur boxer.
Okay.
So I really like, I'm not I wasn't like a really violent kid growing up. Like I had like a little anger, but now I'm obsessed with like just fighting in general. It's
Yeah,
fun. And
be that. I have actually never fought outside of the cage. It's in the cage. They pay me outside of the cage. I don't make anything, so I'm not going to do it.
yeah. Yeah, I don't fight outside the cage, but I have fun like competing. I'm an amateur, so I don't get paid, but I still really enjoy it.
Yeah, all good.
So my second question for you is before walking out to compete, how do you handle and like overcome the nerves or the anxieties that you might have? And how do you use them to your advantage in the fight itself?
Never had nerves, not a single fight. I've got over 80 fights. I have never been nervous for them, not once. It's too much fun. I'm going out there to do something I would do for free, but they're going to pay me a bunch to do it. I have no reason in the world to be nervous. So I just go
Yeah.
out there and I enjoy the moment. Often enough in the back, I'll take a little nap. I'll kind of relax. My wife will talk. My team and I will goof around. I might break a sweat, maybe if I'm feeling that way. Otherwise, I'm just chilling. Just another day in the life.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I've competed once and I was really nervous.
I
Yeah.
understand it. It's the one thing as a coach I do the least of, or it's the question I'm able to answer the least is I'm nervous. What do I do? I say I don't know. I've never had those nerves.
Yeah. So, while you were in the UFC, what was your favorite? Like, what's been your favorite moment of your career? It could be UFC, karate, combat.
I've had so many favorite moments. What the moment that comes to mind is the day I signed my UFC contract. That's the day where usually I've made it. I'm going to be able to pay for my family. I'm going to be able to have a real life, a real career. And so the moment I signed my UFC contract, that was a really, really good day.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you competed in the middleweight division. What are your thoughts on the current landscape of the UFC and like the middleweight division itself?
I don't think the middleweights have ever been better. Anderson Silva, I still think is the greatest middleweight of all time. But Sean Strickland, DDP, Costa, Izzy, the list goes on of how good the division has become. So I'm really admiring of how talented it is.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned DDP and Strickland. What is your prediction for the rematch at UFC 312?
Oh, Strickland's going to finish him this time.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah, Strickland will get him. Strickland won the first one. I don't care what the judges said. Second
Yeah,
one,
I thought that too.
Strickland's got DDP's number. Strickland's gonna finish him.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Strickland won 4 rounds to one. Like the first time I rewatched it, and I was like,
I'm right there with you.
yeah, I rewatched it, and I was
Look,
like, it was probably 3-2
if
Strickland.
you look at the scorecards too, or if you look at the punch count, he did. He outlanded, outstruck, outdid everything.
Yeah.
Strickland bled a little bit because of a headbutt.
Yeah. So, what round do you think Strickland will finish DDP in?
Fourth round.
Fourth round? Ah, dude, I got DDP though. I'm picking DDP this time, just
Oh,
because I
it's
want
okay.
to.
It's okay. Everybody's wrong every
Yeah, just because I want to see DDP and Hamza. That's the only reason why.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not
that's the
a
only
fan
reason
of
why.
that. I'm not. I think
So,
he's overhyped.
who DDP?
No, Hamzat. I think DDP is great. Honestly, I put myself against everyone in the middleweight division because that's the way you got to. It's the way fighters do it. And DDP,
Yeah.
I think I have the hardest time with. I think DDP would be an incredibly tough fight for me.
So, what did you think of Hamzat's performance against Whitaker?
It was fine, but it's an old Whitaker, and I hate saying it because Whitaker is one of the greatest champions that the division's ever had. But
Yeah.
it was an old Whitaker. Whitaker got caught. It happens, and that's. I know Whitaker got beat by DDP. Beat who did he beat? Costa. He beat someone, and
Costa.
then he got knocked out cold or TKO'd cold by Kamzat. It was just it wasn't. It didn't impress me. It was an impressive. I mean, it was a good win, but it
Yeah.
impressed me as a fighter.
Do you feel that Hamzat needs one more fight before getting a title shot?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I'd like to see him fight again. However, he's done such a good job of not fighting and becoming one of the
A
most
mega
well
star.
fighters. It's crazy.
Yeah, I also said that. I said that he needs to fight again. Everybody was like, "No, he gets the title shot." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I don't think so." But obviously you're the current karate combat heavyweight champion. Is there a time frame that you want to return? Do you have an opponent in mind?
I, every opponent is in mind. I want to fight last week. I gotta get Karate Combat to give me that date.
Do you have like a certain day, like a certain time frame, like March or
Last week,
January?
as soon as I can.
Oh, okay, okay. As soon as you can. Okay. So how is karate combat different? Like, are the feeling of you going into a karate combat fight different than the feeling of you going into a UFC fight?
No, it's I get to fight in a pit, which is way cooler than the cage. I like the cage. I'm good on the cage. Nobody can beat me on the cage. But that pit is so cool. That pit is a spectacle. When you are in watching fights in that pit, it is just it's the feeling is immense.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched like a full karate combat fight card, but I've watched like the highlights. It seems pretty cool.
It's more fun to watch than the UFC.
Yeah, I think I want to see you and Luke Rockhold fight. That would be
He
cool.
won't do it. He's a chicken shit. Pardon my language.
Yeah, that would be cool. You and Luke Rockhold. What life lessons have you learned throughout your MMA career? Like while you were in the UFC and in karate combat, and how are you able to use it into your everyday life?
Yeah, don't pick on people bigger than you. That's a great one. I teach my kids that every day. Cardio is king. Wrestling is necessary. Boxing, I believe, is the greatest stand up combat sport. The greatest base for MMA there
Yeah,
is. Um, and uh, a D1 good wrestler could beat the UFC champion. Wrestlers are next level. And the more I fight, the more I know. Okay, a good wrestler can beat just about anyone.
do you think that's why some people have problems with like Umar Nurmagomedov and
Yeah, 100%.
Islam?
100%. That's also the reason the UFC protects the champions from wrestlers. The champions that make the UFC a lot of money, the UFC keeps them away from wrestlers.
Do you think that UFC is hiding Pereira from Ankalaev?
At this point, you know what? Yes, to an extent, I would imagine it will be his next title defense. But yes, Pereira is a huge star. He is the biggest star in the UFC's roster, which I can't believe. But he's an
Yeah,
impressive figure, and he is definitely being hidden at this
yeah,
point. He wasn't. He was thrown to the wolves, and he just won. Now they want to keep him winning for a little bit.
yeah. Because I heard some speculation that it's going to be Pereira and Hamzat for the 205 title.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Yeah, I don't know who made that up. I was like,
That
that
one's
doesn't
not.
make any sense. But would you ever consider like if your karate combat contract goes up, would you ever consider going back to the UFC or fighting for a different MMA promotion again?
I love Karate Combat. I am their champion, and I want to be the longest reigning champion in Karate Combat's history.
So, how long do you feel you are going to be like do you have a certain time frame for your career? Is it once I get to this age, is it or is it just how the body feels?
As long as I'm making a living doing it, not getting too hurt, I'm in. I love this sport. I love my life. I love what I've been able to do with it. So as long as I'm making a living and having a good time with it, I'm doing it.
Are you making significant more than you were in the UFC?
No, 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 no. UFC pays more than anyone, and it's not even close. But I'm making a living with Karate Combat. I'm having a good time. They are paying me what I'm worth, and I couldn't be happier.
So what got you interested in wanting to compete for karate combat? Was it just something you saw?
No, because the people in bare knuckle boxing are a bunch of cowards, bunch of chicken shit wieners. I use that word again. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not even sure how old you are, and I should not be talking like that. Hey, no, BKFC. I tried to fight there. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna fight. You're gonna fight. No, and they never tried. They nobody. Everyone I offered said no. It was. BKFC wouldn't do it, and so I tried other places. Nobody else would fight me either. Karate Combat was the one place with fighters that are fighters that would look me in the eye and say, "Yes, I will beat you." Everybody else would talk to the manager and say, "I don't want to fight him." Um,
Yeah.
and that's the way it was. Karate Combat has the realest fighters in all of combat sports.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on BKFC like letting TikTokers like Bryce Hall and like letting influencers
Oh, I love it.
fight?
And Karate Combat started it. Karate Combat does that more than anyone else. I absolutely love it. This world would be a much better place if everybody got punched in the face once in a while.
Yeah. Would you be interested in boxing? Like boxing Jake Paul or boxing someone like that?
Yeah, but I'm too good. He wouldn't fight me. I'm his size. I'm not retired and I'm not a wrestler. He wouldn't fight me.
Is that something you offered?
Oh yeah, every chance I get. I mean, it'll never. He is a, he has a team behind him that picks who he's going to fight every time. The one time he fought a boxer, Tommy Fury, he lost. Jake's not a good boxer. He's an athletic kid. He's a
Yeah.
fit boxer who can beat a 60-year-old Tyson.
Yeah, I'm like the number
If
one Jake
Tyson was
fanboy.
50, he would have won.
If Tyson was 50.
Yeah, if Tyson was 10 years younger, he would have beaten Paul. Paul won, kinda.
So you feel that like Jake Paul's team is hiding him from real boxers, like letting him fight the lights
I
of.
wouldn't even say they're hiding him. They're just picking their opponents. Power to him. He's making millions and millions of dollars doing that. Power to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like the biggest Jake Paul fanboy too, so I
Oh,
won't
I'm
lie.
sorry. He's
It's all good. I was like, I like him because I was suicidal back in 2018 and his like YouTube videos helped me like
well. I'm very happy to hear that.
yeah.
Everything negative I say about him is just from a combat sports side.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I know.
really do like what he has done in the combat sports arena. All competition to the UFC and to Bellator and PFL is good competition. It helps the fighters' pay go up. And so I'm a big fan of what he's doing. I just don't think he's any good at doing it.
What do you how do you feel about him possibly fighting McGregor?
It won't happen.
You don't think so for either of them or for Jake? Because I heard
Jake
Logan.
won't happen. Logan probably won't happen.
Would you fight Logan?
Yeah, I actually have. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I
Wow.
sparred Logan a few years back.
Oh.
He was getting ready for his first fight against KSI, I think it was. And so they brought me
Uh-huh.
to spar. I was supposed to spar both of them. Logan and I had a good round, and then it was a good couple rounds, and it was such a good couple rounds. Jake Paul refused to spar me.
Oh wow. That's crazy. What? That's I didn't know that. That's insane.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to see you and Logan fight. That'd be cool.
Oh, I'd have a blast. I want to wrestle Logan. I want to get in the WWE and suplex him off the top ropes.
Yeah, you should get in the you should get in WWE. That'd be cool. So what is from your UFC career, what is your favorite fight from your career?
Da Young is probably my best fight. My favorite fight is Nate Marquardt.
Oh, I seen that one. I remember that. The Nate Marquardt one. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that one. That one was good. What are your thoughts on Donald Cerrone wanting to fight at 185?
I can't tell if he's serious or not. I will never tell a fighter not to fight. But he walked off into the sunset and he is everybody's favorite fighter. He
Yeah.
walked off. People loved him. Now he wants to come back. Power to him. Maybe he's still got something more to give, but maybe not.
I feel like he should be coming back to like BKFC or Karate Combat or something like that.
Now you go where the money's at. UFC is going to pay him more than anyone else will. And honestly, he's probably still under
That's true.
contract with UFC.
Yeah, that's true. The UFC would probably pay him a lot. Yeah, but like, are you kind of? How do you feel about like the UFC, for example, Donald Cerrone, possibly getting fed to the younger generation just to help boost the star of someone like a Bo Nickel or someone like an Abus Magomedov?
I don't think they'll do that to Cerrone. There's too much love for him among the fans. I don't think they'll feed him. I think they'll try and give him as fair a fight there is. It'll be hard to find a fair fight for him.
Yeah, I like personally, I can't think of anybody who is like. I mean, maybe they give him some like Julian Marquez, like someone that is like around the same age,
Yeah,
around like the same,
maybe that would be a good fight.
or like someone like Cody Brundage.
Maybe I don't think he'll be 85. Cerrone's not an 85er. He's not big enough.
You think 70?
Yeah, 70. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna see because I was like, there's no way he can make 55 with
Hmm.
because I heard he's on TRT and stuff.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. At this point, I'd bet most of the UFC rosters on TRT.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. Like Vitor Belfort was one
Oh
back
yeah,
in the day. That
John
guy
Jones
was
is on
scary.
everything. Probably currently on everything. John Jones is the biggest cheater the sport's ever had.
Do you feel he will lose to Tom Aspinall?
Yes, I don't think the fight's going to happen, but yeah, I think you lose to Aspinall.
Lose by knockout or probably decision?
I would go knockout. I think Aspinall could touch him.
I honestly got knockout for Aspinall, so
Mhm.
I don't really like Jones to be honest. I just feel that gets so much praise, even though he got like the hit and run accident and stuff like that happened. Like people
Yeah,
kind of
even outside of what happened outside of the cage, he's just a cheater. Between eye pokes, elbows, knees, and drugs, he's a cheater. That is him to his core. Anybody that considers him the goat, that they're doing no favors to the sport, no favors to fighters.
who is your goat then for
A
MMA?
GSP followed by Mighty Mouse. Then we got to go Khabib. We're gonna go. Volkanovski was on the list. I think he still is. And the number five is Jose Aldo.
So where would you rank Jones?
He's not on the list. He's a cheater.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna put a cheater on the list.
All right, that's fair. So I have two more questions for you. Excuse me. One, what is your advice to up and coming amateurs such as amateur boxers and amateur MMA fighters that
Wrestle,
wrestle?
wrestle. Find a way to wrestle. If you're still in school, wrestle.
So for amateur boxers, would that be kind of putting on a slow pace, clinching when you need to?
If you're old enough to be in school, wrestle. Go to the
Also,
wrestling course, join the wrestling team, be a wrestling dummy. You will never be able to wrestle like you do in a wrestling team in high school and college. Wrestle.
okay, okay. Yeah, I'm a senior in high school, and I think the wrestling thing would be
Join
like
your
great.
wrestling team if you want to fight someday. If you want an MMA fight someday.
Yeah, I was thinking about MMA, but I think I'm gonna stick to boxing, kind of.
There you go.
I'm
It's
not trying.
boxing cardio. Cardio is
I'm
the
not.
boxing.
I'm not trying to get it put in a Kimura. You know,
Yeah.
that just doesn't look fun. But my final question for you tonight is, what do you have a message for your fans and supporters that have followed you throughout your career?
Yeah, I've started something called School, Skool. If you check any of my links in my social medias, you can join it. I'm teaching people for completely free online. That's actually I'm at the gym right now, filming a bunch of videos for it, and I've got over 600 people working with me right now, and I would love for each and every one of your followers to join me too. It's a much more personalized way for me to see what you're doing and how I'd like to see you improve. I'm
Is
trying to
it
take
like
on a coaching role from a distance.
so for like combat sports?
Oh yeah, for combat sports.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, guys, thank you all for joining Undisputed Interviews. Thank you, Sam Alvey. Make sure y'all go click on his links to join his new school program. Appreciate your time, sir.
Hey, you're very welcome. Have a good one, my friend.
You too.